Now it's over to India Today's managing editor Rahul Kanwal, who has a special discussion with our political analyst on demonetization.
Hello and a warm welcome. This is the big demonetization face-off. And joining us today are the people of India, people of the National Capital Region, many of whom have been queuing up for the last several days. And to answer their questions are leaders cutting across the political spectrum. I want to start from the right by introducing first RPN Singh, senior leader of the Congress party. Welcome, sir. Also Sanjay Singh, senior leader of the Aam Aadmi party. With us, a man who's seeing the functioning of the finance ministry more closely than most others, former secretary in the government of India, Ashok Jha. Also with us is Vipin Malik. He served on the board of the Reserve Bank of India and can give us some thoughts on how the RBI actually functions. People are anguished at the speed at which currency notes are being printed, but what's the thinking within? Also with us is my colleague Rajiv Dubey. He's a managing editor at Business Today magazine. I want to go across to Vipin Malik first, because a lot of people are unhappy with the RBI's pace of printing currency notes. I was reading a report which said at least 6 months at the very least, even if all our printing presses work 24/7, not single shift, not double shift, but work throughout the day and night, it'll take 6 months to print the number of notes that have been taken out of circulation. That's a long time for people to be inconvenienced, Mr. Malik.
You see, there are capacities. The Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Limited, they have two presses. One is in Mysore and one was in Salboni, which is in West Bengal. Mysore has 18 lines, and similarly Salboni has something like 8 or 9 lines. Each line has a capacity, and approximately Mysore, I remember distantly, that it could print 2,000 crore pieces per month.
No, but we've also taken out of circulation 86% of the total currency in the Indian economy.
Yeah, 86% is a high denomination note, 500 and 1,000. Now 1,000 has gone to 2,000. So that capacity has been increased by that methodology. Otherwise, I mean, 6 months I don't know, but full currency with the same thing can be printed by March. The full replacement can be made by March.
A lot of people are saying that heads need to roll, including those at the RBI who accepted the government's decision. If the boss is trying to do something which you believe is impractical or not feasible, the RBI should have stood up and said this is not practical. The previous RBI governor, Raghuram Rajan, in public too said demonetization is a bad idea. Why then did Urjit Patel agree to such an idea, given how much inconvenience people are facing?
It is RBI own decision. It is not a government decision. RBI board takes that decision based on the currency in circulation. They have not completely stopped the full currency. There is a currency which is in circulation, which is a low denomination currency, which is in circulation. They were finding that every day the counterfeiting notes are coming up, and every branch is receiving substantial note. There could be possibility of lot of counterfeiting note from the across border coming.
Ashok Jha, is that even a serious argument when Vipin Malik says it's a decision that the RBI governor has taken? This is a political decision. It may be taken in the larger national interest, but it's a political decision which the RBI is implementing. Is there at all a possibility that secretaries such as yourself or directors at the RBI stand up and say, actually we need more time, even if this is a good idea, the preparation that needs to be made requires us to do more groundwork?
See, firstly, I don't agree with Vipin that this was an RBI's decision, because such decisions are always taken by the government, not by the RBI. Okay. The second point is that in terms of being prepared in order to push this demonetization through, I think the government did not do enough homework. See, for instance, as you mentioned, you're taking away 86% of the value of currency in circulation. So you have to have a replacement for that ready before you jump into the, into the fray. And I think they were totally unprepared, and that is why people are standing in such huge lines.
But RPN saying the government's counter to this is any more preparation would have required more people to know. The more the people knew, the greater the possibility of a leak, and the whole shock and awe of this demonetization catching the black money hoarders off guard would have been lost had more people been involved in the process.
No. I'm not saying it might be a coincidence. I've said this earlier on your show. In the third quarter, all the nationalized banks saw a great spurt.
A 6% spurt.
It's not 6%. They were negative growth and they've all gone up. So how is it that only in the third quarter, just before the demonetization, there's a spurt in every nationalized bank? There's a spurt in every nationalized bank.
That's also because of the 7th pay commission.
No, that's 36,000 crores only, Rahul. As the finance minister clarified, the spurt has been because of.
No, but that's a wild charge.
No, it's not a wild charge.
You have no evidence. It's a very serious charge.
No, it's not a serious charge. This is what I'm saying. People are talking about 500 rupee notes, 1,000 rupee notes, but this is the biggest scam. Were there, I'm not saying who, were there some people who were in the know?
No, but that's a question you're asking. It can't be a scam unless you have the answer.
This is what the RBI data is saying. You go through, I can give it to you, it's on my phone. This is the factual government data I'm talking to you. This is not some figment of my imagination. What is funnier is, as it was pointed out, there are 2 lakh banks in this country. 2 lakh banks in this country. Even if 400 people are standing in line, that means how many people? Not very good at maths, but about 8 crore people are standing in lines. If we think 1,20,000 ATMs are working, that's what the government says, let's believe it. If there are 300-400 people standing there, another 5 crore people standing there. So we have 13 crore Indians who are no black money guys standing in that line. 13 crore Indians are standing in lines who have not even an iota of black money. So what kind of black money are we talking about? The Prime Minister himself spoke about 80 lakh crores being abroad, which he's going to bring back when he comes to power in the government. He came back to power. Who has it that people have died in lines? I come from Kushinagar. A woman died thinking she just had 2,000 rupees. Has any guy who's hoarding black money died? All those people standing in lines are dying because the government was completely ill-prepared. Just for that slogan that I'm going to take care of black money does not mean you inconvenience 98% of the people of this country, and no black money guys are putting their money into the bank.
The Aam Aadmi Party is a party that was against black money, against corruption, against black money in elections. Now here is a big opportunity to join the government and express your support and say that the fight against black money is a fight that we join. For example, Nitish Kumar, your partner in the Bihar polls, and even afterwards you've been ideologically aligned, has actually come out and praised what the government is doing. Why then would an anti-corruption crusader like Arvind Kejriwal take such a strong anti-corruption line?
देखिए राहुल जी, आपने कहा काला धन के खिलाफ अगर कोई कार्रवाई हो रही होती, निश्चित रूप से हम सरकार के साथ खड़े होते। काला धन लाने के लिए अगर कोई कार्रवाई होगी, निश्चित रूप से पहले व्यक्ति हम लोग होंगे जो मोदी जी के साथ खड़े होंगे। आपके चैनल पे मैं इस बात को कह रहा हूं। क्या ये कार्रवाई काला धन के ऊपर है? मेरा सवाल ये है, बहुत सीधा सा सवाल है। आपने चुनाव के पहले कहा देश के बच्चे बच्चे को पता है काला धन कहां है। काला धन स्विट्जरलैंड की बैंक में है। आपने कहा 80 लाख करोड़ रुपए विदेशों में काला धन है, हम उसको भारत में लेके आएंगे और हर आदमी के अकाउंट में 15-15 लाख रुपए जमा कर देंगे। पूरा देश 15 लाख रुपए की इंतजार करता रहा। आपने वो वचन तोड़ा। फिर आपने कहा महंगाई खत्म करेंगे, 240 रुपए किलो दाल इस देश के अंदर बिकी, वो वचन आपने तोड़ा। आप 8 बजे आते हैं 8 नवंबर को और आप कहते हैं 4 घंटे बाद 500 और 1000 की नोट रद्दी के टुकड़े हो जाएंगे। यहां पे आरबीआई के अधिकारी बैठे हैं, इनसे पूछिए उस नोट पे लिखा होता है भारत सरकार गारंटी लेता है, यह लिखा होता है कि मैं धारक को 500 रुपए अदा करने का वचन देता हूं। एक भारत की सरकार वचन देती है, आपने फिर वही वचन तोड़ दिया। आप कह रहे हो वो रद्दी के टुकड़े हैं। हम अपना पैसा, राहुल जी बहुत सीधा सा सवाल है, अकाउंटेड मनी, टैक्स पेड मनी, हमने अपनी गाढ़ी कमाई का पैसा बैंकों में जमा किया। हमारे घर में कोई बीमार हो जाए, किसी की शादी पड़ी है, घर में कोई शादी के लिए बैठा हुआ है, तो उसके लिए 24,000 रुपए की लिमिट आप लगाएंगे हमारे अकाउंटेड पैसे पे, हमारे टैक्स पेड मनी पे। हमारा पैसा है, व्हाइट मनी है, मजदूरी का पैसा है। आप कह रहे हो 2000 से ज्यादा आप बदल नहीं सकते। कब तक? 30 दिसंबर तक। कोई भी जिसके पास व्हाइट मनी है, सरकार इसका जवाब नहीं दे रही है, क्या 30 दिसंबर तक 2000 रुपए में उसकी जिंदगी चल सकती है? ये भी और एक छोटा सा सवाल, एक लास्ट सवाल छोटा सा। 93% लोग इस देश में, 93% गांव ऐसे हैं जहां पे बैंक नहीं है। उनके लिए आपने सोचा नहीं, उनके लिए आपने कोई काम नहीं किया। लोग मर रहे हैं, आप मजाक उड़ा रहे हैं, कह रहे हैं जो लाइन में खड़े हैं वो 2G के आरोपी हैं। 8,55,000 करोड़ रुपए उद्योगपतियों का बकाया है, बैंकों का, जनता का पैसा आप उनसे वसूलते नहीं। 1,14,000 करोड़ रुपए आपने उद्योगपतियों पूंजीपतियों का माफ कर दिया। 80 लाख करोड़ रुपए विदेशों में जमा है। पनामा पेपर लीक्स के आपके पास रिपोर्ट
Okay,
है।
let's take
आपके
you
पास
made your
सारी
opening
एजेंसीज आप
comments.
कार्रवाई नहीं करते।
I want to take some very quick opinion polls here, starting with how many people sitting in this audience, just as a random sample, support the Prime Minister's move on black money. How many people support that? Now this, RPN Singh, is a good example. Okay, let me ask the other question again so that people can see how many people don't support it. How many people don't support what the Prime Minister is doing? How many people don't support the battle against demonetization? So if, broadly speaking, RPN Singh, there are about 200 people here in this audience, about 5 people said they don't support what the government is doing.
Ask about the
195 people said they support what the government is doing. You've got a random sample right here.
We have stated the first day at 8 o'clock when the Prime Minister announced it. We have said we will stand at 10 o'clock was our press conference. In 2 hours' time, we had a press conference supporting any move that the government takes to control black money. Even the Congress party has stated, it's the stated position of the Congress party that any move that this government takes, we will support the government.
No, but you're not supporting the
We are
government.
supporting the government, but is those 13 crore people standing in the line every day, are those black money
No, but
hoarders?
Sanjay Singh, the fact
If
is that
those
most people have
55
supported what the government is doing.
But they-
Even in
it
those
is-
queues, it's not as if people are rioting or mobbing, getting involved in a violent mob.
But
They're
people are
standing very
dying.
मैं बहुत
quietly,
सीधा सवाल
patiently.
मैं बहुत सीधा सवाल पूछ रहा हूं, क्या ये मोदी जी की कार्रवाई ब्लैक मनी के ऊपर है? आप टीवी चैनल्स ने भी चलाया सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक ब्लैक मनी के ऊपर, सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक ब्लैक मनी के ऊपर। तो जिसके ऊपर ब्लैक मनी है, जिसके पास ब्लैक मनी है, आपके पास इनकम टैक्स है, आपके पास ईडी है, आपके पास सीबीआई है, आप ब्लैक मनी जिन्होंने रखा है उनको पकड़िए ना, उनको जेल में डालिए।
Let me ask you a question,
चार
Sanjay
चोर
ji.
को पकड़ने के लिए
Let me
पूरे
ask you a
मोहल्ले में
question
पुलिस
here.
भेज दी आपने।
One second. You made a point. I want to ask that question. How many people here believe that the Prime Minister's actions or the BJP government's actions are against black money? How many think that this is one good way of fighting black money? How many people feel that way? Once again, Sanjay Singh, the response is in front of you. Majority of the people here, and this is a random audience. It's not as if we've picked them because what do you all do? Let's just.
आप सवाल गलत कर रहे हैं। आप पूछे इन
जब पोल का जवाब पसंद नहीं आपको सवाल नहीं अच्छा लगा, ये क्या बात हुई?
काला धन वालों पे किया क्या मोदी जी ने, ये पूछ लीजिए ना, ये सवाल पे पूछिए। काला धन वाले कितने लोग हैं जिन पे कार्रवाई किया मोदी जी ने?
Okay, let's
2.5 साल का टाइम बीत गया, वो सवाल पूछिए ना, नाम बताइए।
One second. Yes.
अल्टरनेटिव सोल्यूशन नहीं निकाला है, लेकिन वो काला धन पे ही स्ट्राइक था।
आप you think that this is action against black money?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, some other voices from the audience. Let's listen to some people. Yes, one second.
काला बाजारी शुरू कर दी इन्होंने। काला बाजार नोटों के चक्कर में 2000 दो, 2500 दो, 2000 लो। ये काला बाजारी नहीं हो रही तो और क्या हो रहा है मार्केट में?
आवाज सुन लीजिए।
4000 रुपए।
पब्लिक को परेशानी हो रही है और बैंक को फायदा हो रहा है। सीधे सीधे बैंक को फायदा पहुंचाया जा रहा है और पब्लिक को परेशान किया है। पब्लिक का पैसा बैंक को।
Okay, let Vipin Malik respond to it. One
आप
second.
सुनिए।
मैं काले धन के खिलाफ जो कहा गया कि काला धन इससे खत्म हो जाएगा, जो काला धन रखे हुए उनके लिए कहा गया है कि वो आकर के इसको अपना सफेद कर लें 200% दे करके, जुर्माना दे करके। मैं अगर एक भी आदमी ऐसा काम कर गया, मुझे बता दे उसका नाम, मैं उसको सल्यूट करूंगा जाकर, जिसने ये कहा हो कि ये मेरे पास काला धन है, ये लो टैक्स और ये लो पेनाल्टी 200% और मेरा काला धन सफेद कर दो।
आवाज सुनिए राहुल।
Let Vipin Malik respond to this. People here, Vipin Malik, saying that there is black marketing now in notes. We've seen this. A 2000 rupee note, for example, an old 500 rupee note being sold for 300, a 1000 rupee note being sold for 800. If that is the case, then what purpose does this serve? What is it achieving?
You see, there was certain instances where you could see, even your channel has shown, that laborers have been put online, and for that purpose they were paid the dihadi for 500 or 1000 rupees. Similarly, the goldsmiths had started the blackmailing. Similarly, the dollar rate has gone to 130. All these things have been taken care by the government by one, reducing the.
How do you know it's not happening any longer? It could still be happening. There could be more dihadi mazdoor still standing.
No, but even if it is there, it is a negligible percentage.
You're saying it's a negligible percent.
Yes.
Even if something is nefarious that's going on, it's a very small percentage.
Very small percentage.
Sir, my question is this. We are the master stroke by Modi was not only against black money, it is election funding, fake notes, corruption, drugs, and terrorism. Now, the second question I want to say is, why is the media against Modi by showing pictures which is having big queues, but today in the banks there are no queues? Why don't they show the right thing? It is the social media.
Yeah, जी बात है. The Aam Aadmi Party says the media is pro-Modi. Somebody says you're anti-Modi. People should make up their mind. I want to bring in, yes, GVL. I want to bring in GVL Narasimha Rao because some people here are saying while they broadly support the idea and the battle against black money, they're upset with the inconvenience that people are having to go through. The charge that Sanjay Singh, RPN Singh and a lot of people here are leveling is that the level of preparation that should have been put in wasn't put in and people are being inconvenienced.
Rahul, we have answered this repeatedly. I think had we prepared very well in advance, had all the banks been taken on board, had all ATMs been recalibrated in advance, the word would have been out. Everyone would have come to know that such a step was being taken. So it's a trade-off one has to make between the secrecy and also the level of preparation. I think since the real purpose of it is to ensure that we are able to pull out money, the idea is to have a surgical strike against terror money. Therefore, I think a secrecy was paramount importance.
Let me ask that question. One second, GVL. We've got lots of people in the audience here. I want to ask one more quick public ka sawal. How many people think that the level of inconvenience that we are having to go through is okay given that the larger battle is against black money? How many people are okay with the level of inconvenience? How many people, here the response is changing. How many people are not okay with the level of inconvenience? How many people are not okay with the fact that they are being inconvenienced? Here, Sanjay Singh, the response is more divided. While they all supported the battle against black money and and in support of demonetization, they are clearly upset with the level of inconvenience.
Inconvenient, yes. वही तो मैं कह रहा हूँ आपसे. एक बात ये है, अभी जो जीवीएल नरसिम्हा राव जी ने कहा कि इसको गोपनीय रखना जरूरी था. ये दैनिक जागरण का अखबार है, प्रतिष्ठित अखबार है हिंदी का. 26 अक्टूबर को ये खबर छपी है, अब आएगा 2000 का नोट.
नहीं, उसमें ये नहीं लिखा ना कि जाएगा 500 और 1000 का नोट. नहीं, ये लिखा था ना कि आएगा 2000 का.
कैसे पता था? इसमें बहुत सारी चीजें लिखी हैं. इसमें बहुत सारी चीजें लिखी हुई है. कैसे पता था? अगर इतना गोपनीय था तो संजीव कंबोज 2000 की गड्डी लेके 6 नवंबर को कैसे अपनी फोटो खिंचाता?
I come back to the same question. You just go through the figures.
कैसे?
You're talking about the people.
Okay, let GVL respond to this. On social media, GVL, the Aam Aadmi Party's charge is there are BJP members in different states. 1 second, can I moderate please? There are BJP members in different states on social media posting those 2000 rupee pictures even before that currency was out in the market. Sanjay Singh is wondering where did they get that currency from?
Rahul, the decision to go in for a 2000 rupee currency was made several months in advance. There was no secrecy about the introduction of rupees 2000 note is concerned. This was decided nearly about 6 months ago, and anyone who is well informed knew such a decision was being taken. So this is not the surgical strike. Introduction of 2000 is not a surprise element. The surprise element was that 500 and 1000 rupee notes will be invalidated, will not retain the status of legal tender. So I think we are mixing up issues. I think
Dubey, as a non-political expert, I want you to look at whether the government is on top of the situation. Lines in banks are coming down, at least in urban centers. In rural centers, people are still distressed. Do you believe that the rollout is to the reasonable satisfaction of people, or do you believe the level of anger is rising?
Rahul, the big problem, the nub of this problem is the 500 rupee note. Now, the problem that occurred is because the government took out 55% of the currency from the system without printing a single new 500 rupee note. So secrecy is all fine, but that was a very rash decision. And I think as long as there is shortage of 500 rupee note in the system, because that's the intermediate currency between 100 rupee note and 2000 rupee note. You take a 2000 rupee note to the system, nobody wants to change it for...
That's a good point. Let GVL respond. I've got some 2000 rupee notes. They've never felt quite as useless as they do because nobody is willing to take that note. If nobody is willing to take a 2000 rupee note, or what use is it for the Aam Aadmi?
Rahul, now I can certainly understand that was the situation for a few days. Now the 500 rupee note also is in circulation. Since yesterday, ATMs in at least in Delhi, I have got 500 rupee notes from an ATM in Delhi. I'm sure
you're
all the
printing
machines,
5 million of the 500 rupee notes in a week. It's not going to make up for the shortage that there is in the market. In the system right now,
Rahul,
it's going to take 6 months. P. Chidambaram, the former finance minister, he says our total capacity to produce 500 rupee notes is only 300 crore per month, and you need 1600 crore of those notes. It's going to take 6 months to do this.
No, it's a 2,000 crore for the BRI.
Can I respond to that,
go ahead.
Rahul?
That's what
Go ahead,
the
GVL.
finance minister said. That's what
You see,
Chidambaram said.
if anybody was expecting that after this decision from next day things will be back to normal, I think they were simply not understanding the nature and the gravity of the situation. The Prime Minister would not have addressed the nation and talked about the hardship that people have to go through if from 10th morning everything was going to be normal. So it was reckoned, it was known, when you take out 86% of the currency from circulation in the market, there would be a sudden shortage. It will take several...
Got some questions here. This young man has a question. Go ahead, please.
Sir, I have a question to RPN Singh, sir. Sir, if the block money circulated and the government should note the exact figure of the taxation to get the taxation figure, then why are you a taxation issue? Why have the problem you have? If the block money is circulated, not the black money. Block money, many people have taken their block money in their home. The block money issue.
You know, in India,
I
think the thing is everybody keeps some money at home. That is what Prime Minister is talking about, a cashless society, right? In India, you cannot be a cashless society. Even a country like America is not cashless. The only country in the world, I think, would be Iceland or something, which has a population of 3 lakhs. When you go to rural India, where there's a bank which is 10 kilometers away, how does he exchange his money? When you go to a village fair, like Mr. Chidambaram said, when you go to a village fair, if you go to a village, when the artisan comes in, गांव में लगता है ना, अच्छा गांव में लगता है ना रोज मंडी, हर हफ्ते मंडी में लगती है ना, तो वहाँ any card, credit card works or debit card works, brother?
मैं छोटी सी बात,
you know, amongst the people who've been inconvenienced are the elderly, having to stand in queues. This gentleman here has a question. Go ahead, sir.
All the people who are putting in the money are withdrawing it too.
Yes.
That's why the problem.
Let's listen to his question.
मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि जब से ये डिसीजन हुआ है नोटबंदी का, कश्मीर में हालात इतने अच्छे हो गए हैं कि पत्थरबाजी बिल्कुल बंद हो गई है. जो काला धन वहाँ पे यूज कर रहे थे लोग, वो बंद हो गया है. तो इससे एक नेशनल इंटरेस्ट है ये, तो इसमें सपोर्ट करना चाहिए. और हमारे लोग सीडिशन 11 लाख हैं दिल्ली के अंदर, वो जो पहले वो भी परेशान थे, लाइन में लगे हुए थे, लेकिन 2 दिन से अभी नोटबंदी में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है लोगों को.
Let Sanjay Singh respond. One, that level of anger is coming down, queues are becoming shorter, people aren't as inconvenienced as they were earlier. That's what he said.
राहुल जी, आज की स्थिति पता कर लीजिए. बहुत सारे, मैंने खुद भी बात किया, बहुत सारे.
ये भी तो आम आदमी है ना.
हाँ, मैं सुन रहा हूँ.
उनको परेशानी नहीं है,
मैंने परेशानी की बात नहीं है. बहुत सारे बैंक्स में 2000 के नोट आज मिले ही नहीं, इसलिए लाइन नहीं थी. बैंक में गए लोग, बैंक के पास पैसे ही नहीं, कहां से देंगे? इसीलिए तो 4000 से 4500 से 2000 किया. पैसे नहीं है.
ओके, वन सेकंड, ये बोल रहे.
मैं आज ही बैंक से पैसे लेके आया हूँ, कोई मुशक्कत नहीं करनी पड़ी मुझे.
मैं आपको सर 4 बैंक गिनवा
आपको मिल गए, प्रॉब्लम नहीं हुई?
ना, कोई
पैसे ही नहीं है.
No, so is it a case then? One second, let's speak to some more people. One second, yes sir.
क्रेडिट कार्ड से ढाबे पे पेमेंट कैसे होगा?
सर आजकल सब पेटीएम ले रहे हैं. यस,
मैं ये चाहता हूँ,
कैसे चेक से प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल में कौन पेमेंट ले लेगा?
जो ये पैसे की वो है वो बढ़ा दी जाए अब जी, और 500 के नोट भी आने चाहिए, क्योंकि बहुत परेशानी है.
पीड़ा सुनिए.
और 2000 के नोट, और एक वो जो विकलांग हैं जो मर जाते हैं लाइन में लगे, उनके लिए कुछ करना चाहिए इमदाद उनके लिए. ये नहीं कि सॉरी कह के छोड़ दिया जाए.
That's a fact, GVL. 55 people have died in the last 10 days waiting in queues. That's a high death toll for people for no fault.
GVL से एक सवाल
देखो, एक छोटा सा break लेना. One second. I want to introduce now a very special guest. A guest who I assume hasn't had much sleep over the last 10 days. Chairperson of India's biggest bank, the State Bank of India, Arun Bhattacharya, is joining us live on India Today. Ma'am, welcome. We've got lots of Aam Admis here. There's some Khas Admis. They don't like to call themselves Khas Admis. They're also joining us, experts as well. All of them have questions. I will take the first question. we're seeing these huge queues, Ms. Bhattacharya, still outside the SBI, all other public banks as well. As the person who runs India's biggest bank, the only question people have in their minds is, by when do you believe the situation will go back to normal? When will life go back to normal, ma'am?
I think, they are definitely reverting slowly back to normal. Today, if I look at the numbers that I got up to 5 p.m., the numbers are far less than what they were in the earlier days. Not only that, if I look at the last 24 hours, the number of ATM transactions I used to do on an average day was 75 lakhs. In the last 24 hours, we have achieved 73 lakhs. So we are very close to, coming up to the average at least. Of course, in some pockets there may still be long queues, but overall, if you look at the city today, definitely it looks much more like a normal day.
We'll take some questions from the public as well as from my colleagues. I want to start with Rajiv, the managing editor of Business Today magazine. Go ahead, please.
Ms. Bhattacharya, I want to ask a very simple question. As far as demand and supply is concerned in your bank, how short are you on supply of 500 rupee notes as far as RBI is concerned?
So at this point of time, 500 rupee notes are definitely in short supply because, as you know, this denomination has been changed and is currently getting printed. As and when the supply is coming from the printers, it is being fed to the various currency chests and then on to the branches. But definitely 500 rupee note at this point of time is in short supply. But this will revert and it is...
Are you 60% short? How much are you short, Ms. Bhattacharya? 50%, 60%, 20%? How much is it?
No, you cannot tell me how much it is because, people don't come and ask for 500. They come and ask for a particular amount of money and we are able to give that money. There is no shortage there. If they ask for denominations, we don't keep record of how much denominations they are asking for. So it's difficult to ask me what is the shortage. The fact of the matter is that the supply is very low.
Okay, the next question is from Vipin Malik, former director in the Reserve Bank of India. Go ahead, Mr. Malik.
Ma'am, my only question one is that you must have lot of, since you are the largest bank, hospitals and lot of medical shops as your customers. And most of the complaints of the public is that the hospitals and these chemist shops are not taking the money. Why you could not appoint all these hospitals who are your customers and also the major chemist shops, government, non-government, private sector, as banking correspondents, or you could have sent the cash to them and said that please start taking deposits. Whatever the currency a patient is giving, take it, and we will in return give you replenishment of that.
Okay.
You could have easily done that. So that could have avoided a lot of problems.
So there I would like to tell you that if you go to AIIMS today, if you go to the smaller hospitals today, you will already find a lot of our POS machines operating there. In fact, if you want a list of the hospitals where we are already having POS machines, we can furnish that as well. However, in the first 2 days, you must understand, it takes time for us also to react to any situation. Having said that, it's also a fact in this country where we have 350 million accounts. All of those account holders are also having ATM debit cards. Now, if they have ATM debit cards, there are very few hospitals which don't have POS machines. In fact, in the media, it was being shown somebody waving a debit card and saying there is no money in the ATM, how can I pay for my medicine? Now, that same ATM debit card would have enabled him to pay at a POS in the medicine shop itself. But your idea of a business correspondent, sir, we have already accepted, we have adopted, and a large number of business correspondents are currently in all of these locations. We have 470 mobile vans going and dispensing cash at various locations, be they in railway stations, in army cantonments, in hospitals. In all of these places, we are sending out our mobile vans in order to dispense cash.
The next question is from Ashok Jha, former secretary in the Government of India, man who's helped make several budgets and understands the workings of the government. Go ahead, Mr. Jha.
Ma'am, I only have a very straightforward, simple question. It's now been 10 days since this demonetization of 1,000 rupee and 500 rupee notes. How much money has been deposited by people in the State Bank of India, and how much money has State Bank of India disbursed in these last 10 days?
Sir, we have got, including exchange, around 1,40,000 crores, and we have disbursed around 26,000 crores.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay, we'll take some Aam Aadmi questions. Yes, go ahead, please.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is Arun. I want to ask a question that due to demonetization, that it takes India towards like a recession because the banks increase their CRR. So like the USA faced subprime loan crisis in 2008, like the Lehman Brothers, and they were
So, ma'am, do you think growth numbers are going to come down? Do you think India's tag as the world's fastest growing economy is in jeopardy because of demonetization?
No, I don't think so. And actually speaking, it will take a little bit of time for us to get the growth numbers. It's just been a few days. Actually, banks have not even worked for 10 days. Out of that, one day we didn't work because we had to put together all of our infrastructure. And there was one other Sunday in between. Not a Sunday, it was, I think, a holiday in between. So that having been said, I don't think we are as yet at a point where we can actually assess the growth. However, let me tell you, on the fruits and vegetables front, we have already got some comfort that the sales in the largest mandis have not gone down by very much. It is in fact in the papers today that it is down by about 10%. We do know that the dealers of various commodities are complaining that the sub-dealers are not lifting their stocks. But I think, over the next few days, things will begin to rectify themselves. Mainly because we see a big uptick in digital transactions. Whereas on the POS, we were transacting only about 96 crores before the entire demonetization happened. Today, that amount has gone up to 215 crores on a daily basis. So obviously, people are beginning to look at digital as an option. It may not be an option that will be taken at even the very deep rural areas, but in very many areas, this will come in. As a result of that, and further as a result of the 2,000 rupee notes also coming out, I think over a period of time, whatever slowdown we have seen, that will rectify itself.
Next question is from Sanjay Singh. Go ahead, sir.
मैडम, एक न्यूज आज आई है अखबारों में कि मध्य प्रदेश के अंदर जनधन योजना के, प्रधानमंत्री जनधन योजना के जो खाते थे, उसमें 5 दिनों में, प्राइम मिनिस्टर के अनाउंसमेंट के बाद 5 दिनों में 1200 करोड़ रुपए ब्लैक मनी को व्हाइट मनी किया गया। इसको रोकने के लिए बैंक के पास क्या व्यवस्था है? और दूसरा मेरा सवाल यह है कि 93% गांव इस देश के ऐसे हैं जहां पे बैंकिंग की सुविधा नहीं है, उनकी समस्याओं को एड्रेस करने के लिए आपके पास क्या व्यवस्था है?
ये लास्ट का क्वेश्चन मैं पहले एड्रेस करती हूँ। जैसे कि हम कहे हैं कि दूर दराज गाँव के लिए हम लोग 2-3 चीज कर रहे हैं। एक है कि हमारी जो मोबाइल वैन्स है वो जा रहे हैं इन गाँव में और जाके पैसा बांटने की व्यवस्था कर रहे हैं। दूसरी चीज है, हमारी अभी गाँव में 80,000 पॉस लगे हुए हैं जिनमें से आप पैसा ले सकते हैं। इनको माइक्रो एटीएम कहा जाता है। इनमें कैश जो देते हैं, जो वहाँ के कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंट है या जिसके यहाँ पॉस लगा हुआ है, वो मैनुअली कैश देते हैं, लेकिन आपका कार्ड उस मशीन पे स्वाइप करना पड़ता है। तो इन सारे लोगों को भी हम लोग उत्साहित करने की प्रयास कर रहे हैं कि आपके पास कैश ना हो तो हम लोग आपको कैश देंगे, आप इस कैश की बंटवारा करिए। तीसरी चीज है, जितने हमारे बैंकिंग कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंट्स है, उनकी जो विड्रॉल लिमिट थी वो 10,000 से बढ़ा के 50,000 कर दी गई है और उनको भी हम लोग कह रहे हैं कि आप जितने से ज्यादा आपका जो ट्रांजैक्शन है इसको आप करिए। तो ये सारे तीनों चीज हम लोग एक तरीके से एकदम इसको फोकस कर रहे हैं, पुश कर रहे हैं, ताकि गांव में जहाँ पे दिक्कतें आ रही हैं वहां पे हम लोग इसका हल कर सकें।
The first question was Bhattacharya. Yesterday, India Today ran an investigation, Jan Dhan to Kala Dhan. How Jan Dhan accounts were for sale, people were pumping black money into Jan Dhan accounts. That distorts the whole idea. If everybody starts pumping in money into these Jan Dhan accounts, a lot of the black money gets converted into white. India Today, in fact, has run 5 investigations. One on chartered accountants, one on foreign exchange dealers, hawala operators, the cash spot trading market, real estate dealers, all of them finding ingenious ways of converting black money into white. Where does that leave the grand demonetization idea?
See, the fact of the matter is that in our bank, we have not seen such a huge uptick as is being made out. Yes, there is an uptick of around 2,000 crores in the general account we have, but we have, remember, 10 crore accounts. So therefore, we have to check also to see how it has been used. If they have been misused, then obviously, action will be taken against these account holders. With the BC, there are a lot of restrictions as to how much money can be put into a general account. So these people must have actually come into the branches, deposited money, and then maybe withdrawn money. So we are looking at the analysis of this. It's difficult for me to give you any clear idea at this point of time. But in our books, the general deposit balances on an average have gone up by only 200 rupees. So we need to look at it. We need to look at it and then have a look to see. And again, not every account is activated. The amount of inactive accounts also remains almost similar. So more than 30%, around 32% of the accounts are inactive.
There are reports coming in, ma'am, that there will be no note exchange tomorrow. Can you confirm that for us, please? Is that correct?
Actually, the idea is that tomorrow there should be a normal working day. I think IBA has been working on this, but in all probability, the idea is that our regular customers have been complaining that they are not even able to get into the branches and get their work done, because most of the counters are busy only in exchange of cash. So I think the idea that was there amongst the bankers is that we need to have one day on which we can attend to our regular customers. Some of them have urgent jobs to be done, and we need that breathing time in order to get their jobs done before the exchanges resumes again on Monday.
That's the story we are breaking now. The SBI chief confirming that there will be no exchange of notes tomorrow. So what happens to all those who've been queuing in line unsuccessfully in the hope that they'll be able to get their notes changed? Also, ma'am, we've seen how a lot of laborers are being sent by industrialists to go stand in the line, get their black money converted into white. So a lot of this jugaad mechanics is working in overtime.
I think, that kind of an abuse has already come to a very low level. First of all, I think the use of the indelible ink has been a big help in this matter. And second of all, by reducing the amount of exchange that can be done to 2,000, the government has ensured only those who really need it come for the exchange. The rest of it, I don't think at this point of time there is any doubt at all that this channel was getting misused. But currently, I think the amount of abuse has come down.
RPN Singh has a question for you, Ms. Bhattacharya. Go ahead, RPN.
Ma'am, I might have huge problems with how the government has demonetized the currency, but I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate you, the bank employees of SBI, and all the bank employees who have done a tremendous job.
That's
in
true.
trying to get over
They
the
do
distress
deserve a
of
round
this,
of applause. Ma'am, the last 10 days...
people of this country are facing because of the government.
One second, ma'am. Have the last 10 days been the toughest 10 days of your banking life, Ms. Bhattacharya?
Probably. I have very tough days otherwise also, but these have really been very challenging. But let me also tell you, these have also been very satisfying days. Because at the end of the day, the amount of cooperation and collaboration we have got from our customers who have stood patiently in line. Some of them have taken money and thereafter not gone away. They have helped us in our work by going and explaining things to people in the queue. The amount of cooperation we have got from them is absolutely stunning, and we deeply appreciate it. So also for my colleagues, I must say that we have risen magnificently to this occasion. There are people in certain states who have not had a single day off because they didn't have the Guru Nanak Jayanti. They are working constantly for the last so many days. Most of us go home very late in the night and we are back again in our office by about 9 in the morning.
So RPN had some good words. He had a compliment and now he's got some criticism and some questions. Go ahead, please.
I'm not criticizing. I just want you to let the country know, in the coming months, do you see small savings interest rates coming down drastically?
Well, small savings rates will come down. They will come down mainly not only because of demonetization, but because inflation has come down. When inflation is at around 4.5%, there is no other way but to bring the rates down. But I would again request depositors to understand that rates are relative to inflation. If inflation is at 4.5% and you are getting 6%, that means you are still having a real interest of 1.5%. Whereas if rates are at 9% and you are having inflation of 11%, you are having a negative interest. That is, you are not getting anything from that at all. Your purchasing power is decreasing. Therefore, we must understand rates of interest not in the absolute terms, but in relation to inflation.
But Ms. Bhattacharya, before we end and let you go, there was this other point that RPN made, which was a very interesting political point. His charge is that RBI data shows that the level of deposits coming into all banks, including yours, in the last quarter, before demonetization was announced, was higher than previous quarters. Earlier, there was a downward slope. Suddenly, in the last third quarter, there was an upward trend. His charge is that did people in the banking system know? Did customers know? Did the government tip off people? He wants to know how were deposits going down till the previous quarter. Suddenly in the third quarter, before this big announcement, deposits jumped up. Ms. Bhattacharya.
So I think, one of the reasons why the deposit jumped up was on account of the pay commission and also because of the OROC. Because of these two things, deposits normally do come in. So I am not able to understand whether there is anything beyond that. At this point of time, to tell you the truth, we have been too busy trying to ensure that everything works, to really go deep into it and to make an analysis account by account. But let me tell you, deposits do go up whenever a pay commission award is given or whenever something like the OROC comes in, because people get money at one point of time and obviously that is not spent immediately and therefore deposits go up.
Ma'am, the question I'm saying from SBI, in the last quarter you had 1% growth. In this quarter, you have 4% growth. We have other banks who are down to -2%. Their deposits have gone up by 6.7%. So there has to be a vagary. Why only in the third quarter? I know the finance minister explained it's because of the 7th pay commission, but that is only 36,000 crores. The figures don't match. That's my question, ma'am.
Actually, as I told you, I have not really done a quarter by quarter growth pattern to see how it has happened. You also have to see whether the last year there was such a growth pattern. You also have to check to see whether the quarter before there was any particular reason for deposits to go down sharply, so that when deposits reverted to normal, it is showing as a very big growth. So analysis has to be done on this. It's difficult to give an answer without actually analyzing all of these numbers.
Answered several questions, and I'm glad that you came on the show. Took questions from politicians, from experts, from journalists, and also from the Aam Aadmi. Arundhati Bhattacharya, thank you very much for joining us. And once again, a warm round of applause for the SBI chief, all bankers. I come from a family of bankers, and all my chachas have been in their banks all through working really hard. And that really is something that needs to be appreciated. They may like the decision, they may not like the decision. That's on the side. Just as professional bankers, they've all been toiling, and that I think is worthy of appreciation. Thank you all so much for joining us. And thanks also to all our guests for joining us on this town hall. Thank you.